So just a quick disclaimer, we're taping the show a little bit early tonight. It's right dead center in the middle of the Stars game, so we don't necessarily know the result right now. At the same time, a lot to talk about in Starsville. Franchise record 10 straight, which, I'll be honest, I was a little surprised that they had only just eclipsed the double-digit win barrier in that regard. Didn't that surprise you?
I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked, and I was like, wait, really? Really? And I think on the other side, I think their total for losses in a row is only like 6.
Exactly.
Very interesting not having, ripped off a 12, 13, 14 game win streak before, especially with them winning Stanley Cups. We know about all the conference finals they've been to.
Right.
The one Stanley Cup and all the conference finals that they have been to.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Saad, what's your biggest takeaway so far from what you've seen, especially recently from this team in and around the Olympic break as well?
They just can't catch a break, man. It's I understand the 10-game win streak is great, but when you're looking at a situation where Tyler Seguin officially goes on LTIR, out for the season and the playoffs, a decision they recently had to make, and then on top of that, Mikko Rantanen is out, and he's going to have to work his way back. Thomas Harley missed some time early in the season. He's back now. And now on top of that, you got Rope Hintz, who might not be back until the very end of the regular season going into the playoffs. It's a very talented team. And then on top of the injuries, you probably have 2 of the best teams in the NHL in your own division in the Minnesota Wild and the Colorado Avalanche. It's just tough. They can't catch a break, whether it's the circumstances around them. The first round matchup is going to be brutal. It's a really good team is going to get eliminated in the first round, and the team that moves on is going to be exhausted. So my biggest takeaway as we approach the home stretch, they're going to have to make do without some of their top players, and they're going to have a really tough matchup in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think you're right. Add Radek Faksa, right? Yeah. I mean, it just all these names, and it's hard to absorb, all of those injuries and keep going. But they still, I will say this, it feels as though there's complete buy-in with what Gulletson is selling. Right, and we saw that kind of manifest itself with not just the way that they were performing, but who was performing so well. It feels like the scoring load is being transferred to some names that you wouldn't expect big output from, but they can show up in this system. It feels like there's more physicality, which I think is what Glenn Gulletson wanted, and I think that can mean good things. But you do need those big guns back as soon as possible. And you're right, Saad, because, I was thinking, man, this would be really cool. The Western Conference Final, does the Western Conference Final end up being the de facto Cup Final? Could it be that good?
Nope,
it's hockey. Round. It's hockey. So right, it's hockey, so you can't think about it that way. But then when you think about the playoff structure, you're like, oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's the double-edged sword of having these division rivalries earlier on to breed hate. The other thing I'll say, though, where the Stars are concerned, it feels like we get 2 versions of this team. One that started off hot, then that had that long lull. Now they're hot again. I'm worried that this streaky element is going to continue. Injuries or not, it feels like there's just moments where they lose their game side, and that scares me a little bit, especially when you get into a playoffs and it's like, okay, 4 losses, you're out.
Yeah, and look, as much as the Seguin injury hurts, Rantanen, Hintz, Heiskanen, Harley, Robertson, Wyatt Johnston, these guys should all be there when the playoffs begin. It's tough sledding to get to the end of the regular season, but they should be there. And, we should also mention that in a town that is very loud when it comes to GMs, when it comes to Jerry Jones, Nico Harrison up until recently, and then Chris Young putting together a championship team, Jim Nill might be the best one pound for pound in terms of consistency. And to add a couple of guys at the trade deadline, I thought that was a savvy move. I thought that was great. And on top of all these players, Jake Ottinger is going to be the X factor as he always is. And he shows up for the big game. So I still have confidence in the Stars going into the playoffs. It's just not going to be easy.
Well, the other thing is, when you talk about Jim Nill, I'd just like to thank him personally, because it's not every day that you bring a player in whose nickname is the Chaos Giraffe.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is just absolute gold for us on TV, because that will be worked in. We will have fun with that, because the Chaos Giraffe is one of the best nicknames. And in the game today, I'm sure some of you Stars fans saw, he was paired with Liam Bichsel. So we got a 6'7" and 6'8" duo on the blue line. It's like Chaos Giraffe and the big Dino Bichsel. I mean, 2 just hulking figures, and I can't wait to see what kind of havoc they can wreak together.
Yeah, really sticking the long neck out there. Saad, looking at the acquisitions, how much do you think they can make a difference, especially on the blue line?
I think they can make a big difference. And the blue line has been the part that we've been talking about this team for years. It feels like up front they've usually been able to get their business taken care of. It's always on the blue line. And it's really going to come back to the 3 guys that you drafted in the first round. And that's the guy Joe mentioned, Liam Bichel, and then Thomas Harley and Miro Heiskanen. With all due respect to Mikko Rantanen, Roope Hintz, anybody else, Miro Heiskanen remains the team's best player. And as long as he's on the ice, I don't think people realize how much he tilts the favor for the Stars. So as long as he's out there, I think the Stars have a good chance. And I think the blue line in general is a lot more balanced than it has been in recent years. And that's going to be really important when you go through the forwards that are going to be there in the Western Conference.
Yeah, Heiskanen's skills, speed, defense, savvy. I mean, he's got it all. He puts it on display. Absolutely vital for the health of this club.